But you know what, that's one thing I think with karate too. I don't know if I convey that enough, that your memory gets so much better. It gets so much better because of the things you have to concentrate. I mean, you can't just go out there and, like when we do the bunkai, you can't just go out there and not think and just do. You got to think, and you got to remember the things that you're going to be practicing. And even as far as the blocking and stuff, I mean, you know, that's my sticking point. But I'm getting better at it. I'm actually doing it, and I don't realize I did it. Do you know what I mean?
Welcome to our podcast. Today we have a delightful guest who I have trained with for many years, Dottie Endres. Dottie began her Uechi-Ryu Karate training in 2006 with Sensei Alan Kessler at the age of 62. She now trains with Sensei Buzz Durkin. This fall she is testing for her 6th degree black belt. During our discussion, we talk about starting the martial arts at an older age and how the martial arts have helped her in life. Anyone who has ever trained with Dottie knows that while she is 81 years old, she is youthful in both mind and body and does not let her age stop her from keeping up with her martial arts practice. If you are new to the martial arts or have been training for decades, I think you will find some extra motivation from our talk. Please enjoy Dottie Endres. Dottie, thank you for coming on today.
Oh, my pleasure.
So I think the best way for us to start today is just, how did you get started in the martial arts?
Well, I have a funny story about that. My son, he was about 14, 15, and he was taking karate. And, but I didn't really like his style. It was more of a fighting style. They did a lot of, competitions and stuff like that. So I was kind of disheartened. I thought that's what karate was all about. And then my older daughter, her 2 children decided to take karate 20 years later. And it was in Billerica at Alan Kessler's studio. And I used to take them there. And all of a sudden, my daughter, I was watching the class and everything, and I said, gee, this is different than what my son took. I mean, the katas were just, I fell in love with the katas. I just loved them. And so what I did is my daughter was talking. She says to me, gee, Mr. Kessler is giving a month free for parents. I says, I'm the one that takes them there all the time. How about grandparents? So that was the hook that got me started. Mm-hmm. And I've been ever grateful ever since. It's been a wonderful experience.
And how old were you when you started?
I was 62.
A young 62.
A young 62. You know, I never thought of my age as being a problem to do it. I figured I wanted to do it, and that's what got me to start. And I love the katas. I thought that was it, just the katas to do that. That's what I loved.
So you've been training for how many years now?
Going on 20.
Going on 20 years. And how has your training evolved over the years?
Well, I found as I do more of the, advance in my ranks, I found that it was more not just the katas, but what they represented and the techniques and what they were for. And also just that doing other things besides the katas, like we do the Batukuke, and we do, that's the style, but the
kumite,
the kumites, the bankais, yes.
A little sparring for you here and there.
Yeah, and the sparring, I wasn't too keen with that, but at my age, I didn't really have to do too much of that until.
But thankfully, if you have a good partner, you can do it safely, because we've sparred a few times before.
Yes, we have.
If you have a good partner,
we have.
No matter how old you are, you can still do it safely, but you got to have that right partner.
Yeah. Well, where I was going to begin with, it started out being nice, but then it got a little rough and stuff.
And that's before you found Alan.
Yeah, that's before I went to Buzz's,
So you're getting more, so you just basically, you're saying a better understanding of why you're doing the movements, why you're practicing the kata and how to apply them.
Yes, yes, yes. And what the punches, where they should be, and what some of the things that you do can really hurt somebody.
Yes.
I have a funny story for that. My youngest daughter, I don't know, we were just talking back and forth, and I just went like this to her head. I mean, honest to goodness, I didn't think I did anything. And she says, Mom, you gave me a headache. So, you know, that's one of the things, it made me a lot stronger and be more aware of my techniques and, you know, how I apply them and who I do them to,
Right.
you know.
And as you know, the longer you train, the more you fine-tune your technique, which I know was a big part of your training, just watching you over the years.
Yeah.
I've watched you really develop your technique and be very efficient with it and get a lot more power behind those strikes doing it that way.
It's unbelievable. I know. I really never realized it until I started getting up in the ranks and I started going to Buzz Durkin's, where the students that I'd work with, I mean, they'd tell me to hit them, you know, and I mean, because believe it or not, I'm really a gentle person. and to hit somebody, you know, it really took a lot to use the force. But now they tell me that, yeah, I'm not going to tell you to hit me anymore, you know, because I do it automatically.
Hey, I was one of those people telling you to hit me, and you definitely
Yes,
got some power
you
now.
were, for sure, for sure, for sure.
So what kind of got you excited in the first place about training in the martial arts? What was the draw for you?
Well, like I say, it wasn't for self-defense, you know, which a lot of people, that's why they go into karate, is for self-defense. I went because of the gi that I can wear.
You're the only person who's ever told me because I get to wear a gi.
I get to wear a gi, and anything that I've ever done. I mean, like when I swam, I mean, I had an outfit, you know, and when I did my Tai Chi, I have an outfit. I mean, all the things that I do, I have an outfit for it. So having an outfit for doing karate was one of the things. And then just the katas. They were just so beautiful. And to develop that into a, you know, if it had music to go with it, it would be just absolutely beautiful.
How much was family a part of it for you? Because you trained with your grandkids?
I didn't train with them because they were younger,
Right.
but my oldest daughter and I, we trained together. And I remember when we went for a Shodan, a first black belt, and we were practicing a Dan Kumite, and she's always been gentle with me. Well, this night, she wasn't gentle with me, and I fell and hit my head. It made the largest noise because it was a wooden floor, and everybody stopped. I didn't have a concussion, thank God, but I mean, it surprised me that she had that in her, and so that's, you know, so then she became, they were saying, you know, oh, she's the one that beats her mother up, you know.
You must have been a little proud of her.
I was proud. We did test together, and we both passed, and you know, she moved, so we weren't doing it anymore. But it was nice to have her and I in the same classes all the time working out.
That's great.
Yeah, it was good.
And now the dojo is kind of like a second family.
Oh, I can't even tell you how much of a second family it is. I mean, I tell the kids all the time that I have to go to my family. I mean, I need my family, you know, especially when times are tough at home. Not that I have tough times at home, but, you know, the way the world is now and you worry about different things. I feel like I can go into my dojo,
Right.
and I forget all about it, and and then work out with the people that are there. It just gives me joy.
It does. I agree.
A lot of joy.
I think everyone that we train with kind of feels the same way.
Yeah.
I was joking with 2 of my adult students today. We were doing some conditioning. Like, the day doesn't feel right till you've been hit by someone and hit them back.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is true. And the best thing is they all appreciate me being there, and they look up to me because of my age. And it's so funny. I never think about my age. I never think of how old I am. And then when I think about it, I don't know. I'm saying maybe this isn't my real age. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think you and me both agree that as you get older, whether you're your age or next year I'll be 40, like, if you don't move your body, you're going to feel older.
Right, exactly. I do my stretches, and and I've even taught other people at the dojo how to stretch, and what works for me might work for you if you get tight and stuff like that. It's just, it's a good thing.
So, one thing I like to ask people, I like to ask, what to you is the martial way? The Japanese term would be Budo. Whether you use Budo or any other term, but what to you is the way of the martial arts? Whether that's why you train or what you get out of training, what to you feels? Does that question make sense?
Well, yeah. How I feel about that is that I've found that I have more patience with people, and I also have, being the way you either be hard or soft, and that's another thing too, to be soft and be gentle, but you can also be forceful. But in my everyday life, it's discipline, and that I think everybody needs discipline. They need to be able to, and then also make it a point to do things. People kind of give excuses why they can't. And the more excuses you give that you can't, you can't.
Right.
You know what I mean? You put that in your brain, and that's what happens. Where I'm a very positive person, which you must know.
I'm aware.
And I never see the glass half empty. I always see it half full. I can always think of reasons why something happens, especially like when you're on the road and a car comes by and they're speeding past you and you're cutting you off and everything. You just slow down. You don't let it bother you because, it could, but I don't. I just kind of let it, all right, maybe he's got a problem.
I always laugh because every time that happens, we end up together at a stoplight anyways.
Yeah.
They're just now one car ahead.
I know, exactly, all the time.
I think what you're saying about that patience, but also that assertiveness, being patient, being relaxed, but also when the time comes to be confident and assertive is so important. That's not a half hard, half soft that we discussed a lot with our style.
Yeah. It was when I got my first degree in black belt, my posture changed. Not that I was afraid of people. It just made me have that confidence that, I can handle myself.
Right.
In any situation. And now I feel like I can really handle myself.
Right. Even if you don't have to throw a punch. So that kind of leads into, you've been training for 20 years. You got your first 3 black belts some time ago, and now you're testing for your 6th degree black belt.
Yes, my master rank.
And I remember you telling me many years ago that was your goal, was to get that master rank.
You bet. You bet. My goal, I'm telling you. Now I'm going for it in September. And I can't wait for the next time. I'm already thinking ahead another 5 years. I want to get the 2nd degree and my master rank. Yeah.
So what does this test mean for you?
It means that I'm accomplishing something that I've always wanted to do. And I didn't let anything. When I had my third degree black belt, I almost quit. I wasn't happy where I was, and I used to go to Buzz because when you're training, you can go to other dojos and
Right.
work out with other people. And I found
Your dojo had a
there.
change of instructors at the time, right?
Huh?
Your original dojo had a change of instructors at the time, correct?
Yes, yeah. Things just changed. It just changed, and I didn't like the direction it was going in. So I either needed to quit or find someplace else. And then when I went to Buzz's, that was it. I mean, and everybody was just so welcoming and caring and things like that. So that made a big difference in my training, I think. In that. Imagine if I quit.
I wouldn't really know you that well. I don't want to imagine it.
Well, I would have always said, what would happen if I kept it up? Do you know what I'm saying? When my son was doing karate, he was at his brown level, and he wanted to quit. I said to him, "You're not quitting." I said, "You're going to keep going until you get your black belt." I mean, he was so close to it.
Right.
And he did. He got his black belt. Didn't continue with, but I mean, he did get his black belt. And that's how I felt if I didn't continue. You know, I would always say, "Gee, I wonder if I could have kept on," you know, and I did.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you did. I mean, some people, as you know, they leave for a little bit and come back, but there's obviously something to be said that you don't know what you would have done.
Right.
And you don't know what school you might have ended up at, but you knew you had a space that you could go to, and you stuck with it despite the long drive.
Yep.
Both ways, multiple days a week, you made it work.
Yep. It's about 45 minutes, you know, going back and forth. I mean, there was a dojo that was closer, but I don't know. My daughter lives in Derry, which is not too far from the dojo.
Right.
My youngest daughter. So
you get to visit both families when
so
you drive
I get
up.
to do both things. I get to go visit, and then I go to do my workout, which is a good thing.
How does it feel for you? You mentioned like helping people out with their stretch stuff. How does it feel being more of a senior student now, giving back with your training?
Well, you know, I think when I think about it, you know, people ask, people, number one, don't believe how old I am. And then when I tell them, I'm saying, should I have told them that? You know, because I don't want them to treat me any differently than they have been. I think the knowledge too. I think as you get older too, you're more committed in your choices, and you don't let you know, people discourage you. It's, you know, you just, if you want to do it, you're going to do it. And I think, and I'm very honest when I talk about it, and I talk to people too. I mean, you know, that's one thing with age too. You say what, it just comes out. Sometimes I might hurt somebody, but you know what I mean? I'm telling the truth. And I think that's with age helps. And when you're helping other students and, you know, and making them better, they make you better too. So, yeah, I think that has to do with age.
Right.
Don't you think?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if I'm
You haven't gotten there yet, right?
I mean, you know me for a while. I mean, I feel like as I've gotten older, I've become more confident and assertive with how I converse with people. I mean, social anxiety was definitely something from my teenage years and my early adult life, and I feel like because of my martial arts training and especially the teaching part of it,
Yes.
I've overcome a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like as I've gotten older with more responsibilities, having a daughter now, that I just, obviously I'm never not going to be polite to someone, but I'm not going to be pushed around as much.
Right.
I'm definitely going to be like, this is what I need to do. Let's go do it and make it happen.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have so many great memories. You talked about training with your daughter. You talked about your son training. You talked about your grandkids training. Do you have any like other favorite karate memories that have popped up over the years?
Yeah, there's been a lot that crossed my path. I mean, everybody at the dojo is my family, and they've all been part of my growth of my karate. And just because I know the question, I was trying to figure that out. I was trying to give good memories. Every memory there is a good memory.
Mm-hmm.
Every class is a better class. And I don't know. And then we socialize with everybody too. You know, we have other things. And
I'm aware of all the socializing. You guys chatting while I just want to hit people.
us UBs, we love to be able to socialize and have fun. And that's another part too, you know, that you're socializing with the people that you work out with. And you don't mind calling them or texting them or any of that part, that you feel like you could go to them if you needed it, you know, needed anything. You know, Judy's one that I just love her. That's Buzz's wife. I mean, she's helped me in a lot, really a lot. And you know, and they're all mentors.
Right.
You know, they're all mentors.
It's kind of crazy being in a space where you have so many mentors.
Yeah. Well, when I left the dojo at the last place I was in, I was up in the front row. Now,
You were
I
one
mean,
of the seniors.
when I transferred, I was like in the back row, and I'm like, boy, oh boy, did that kind of gave me a setback. You know what I mean?
It's funny. Myself, I'm still, when I go to those big Saturday classes, I'm still like in the middle of the pack. Like all those people are still training ahead of me. So like when I was a Shodan, they were like 5th, 6th degree black belts, and now I'm a 6th degree, and they're like 9th, 10th degree black. I'm like, oh yeah.
I know, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're all above you, which is, but you know, myself, I have a hearing impairment.
Right.
I think you know that. And Mr. D, I call him Mr. Durkins, puts me up front most of the time. And I'm grateful for it, but then I feel bad because the students that are ahead of me really, you know, hope they don't know I'm doing that on purpose.
I think most of them don't care where they stand. I think they all want you to be able to hear what's happening.
They can take care of themselves. Yeah. So it's a different. It's totally different. I just love my dojo.
One of the things that I think has been great over the recent years is people like yourself who start training at, quote unquote, an older age. Because like you said, like you don't feel old.
No.
But I mean, some people might feel a little discouraged starting because they might feel like they're going to be told to start, which is ironic because sometimes I hear from people or read things and someone's asking, am I too old to start the martial arts? And they're like 20. I'm like, no, you're not too old. There's no such thing, but that's definitely not too old. But do you have any advice for someone starting up around the age you started or older about how they get started, just the mentality to have going into it?
I don't discourage anybody for doing karate at any age. You'll get some benefits out of it. Physically, your balance is so much better. Your poise is so much better. It gives you such a satisfaction when you've even done one kata and completed it, you know, that you've actually did that. Mind-wise, I mean, you don't know the things that I have in this brain that just, it's unbelievable. I mean, I've done the kabutos with you.
Right.
I mean, I
The
did
kabuto, the weapon training, yeah.
Yeah, four weapons with you. And I mean, really, come on now. Dottie's doing weapons now. I mean, you know, but I wanted to do it. And I think it's all a mindset. And I think if you do karate, you want to improve all around. You want whatever's new, you want to do something to try it. At least try it. You know, if you don't succeed or if you don't like it, then you have the choice.
I'm pretty sure you won a tournament with that Sai Kata once.
I know. I know, I won first place.
I recall that. I was there.
And
I was
I
watching
was
from the
competing.
sideline.
I mean, at my age, I remember when they were doing the, what was it?
Intramural.
Yeah, they were doing these competitions. And I was the oldest one there doing them. And I thought I'd be in my own category, and I wouldn't have a problem, But they put me in with the younger people.
It was the only way to make it work. There wasn't any, unless you want to compete with yourself.
So I'd have some competition. But the time that was a wonderful memory, getting the sai, doing the sai weapon, and coming first. And I was competing with younger people. It just it touched my heart that
was a
I
pretty good
was able
kata.
to do it. Yeah, I love the weapons. I still practice them. Not all of them, but I practice them.
You still swinging the nunchucks around?
Yeah, on the head. Yeah, you didn't ever gave me the wooden ones,
I can't imagine why.
but I do I love the sai. The sai reminds me of when I was younger in high school. At the school that I was at, they had competition to be in a girl officer. It was in Lowell. And I wanted to try out. There was 400 girls trying out. And I reached the top level. And we had to do swords, and we had to do the
clubs?
The clubs,
Yeah.
yes. And telling you, I practiced every single morning. I think that's where I started my ethics as far as being accomplished things. I mean, there wasn't a morning that I didn't practice. And it's just like at the dojo, I'm always there early. And I go 3 times a week. If I could go 4 times a week, I would, And I've had some injuries that had kind of set me back a little bit, that I'm not doing them like I used to do them. But what I found, that it doesn't matter. As long as you show the way that you do.
Right.
And everybody knows what you're doing.
I think that's an important lesson for anyone at any age, because you can get injured at any point.
Right.
Sometimes that injury is only a temporary setback. I've had injuries like that, and sometimes it's a little more permanent. I've also had some injuries like that, whether they're something that happens outside the dojo or in the dojo, but you just figure a way around it.
Yeah.
And don't let that be an excuse.
Yeah, you just adapt to it. I mean, it's like anything else, If you want to go swimming in a pool and the pool is low, do you not go? You go, you swim. I mean, you just get yourself wet and get your move arms, and you find a way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? You just don't let that set back either. And I've driven to the dojo in snowstorms, and come home in snowstorms, but it was nice because I would go, I would work out, I'd come home, and I'd be relaxed and feel like I've accomplished a day's full of karate. I love my karate, if you didn't know that.
I think we're catching that. Do you have any other thoughts you'd like to share about your training or your experiences?
Let me see my thoughts. Well, let's see. Well, I do other things. I do Tai Chi, which is totally the opposite of karate.
Of Uechi-Ryu Karate, which is all about whacking each other really hard.
But it's a calming way of just doing the movements, and a lot of the movements are from our style, from karate, except you do them very slow, and that set me back a little bit because I was used to doing things fast. And then all of a sudden now I got to calm down. And one of the things I found that it helped my karate, because now I concentrate slower on the things that need to be slow and faster in the things that need to be fast, and that has helped. I also do Reiki, which is another form of martial arts, or maybe not martial arts, but of the mind, body, and spirit. And I think that's something that we all need to concentrate on. You know, use those mind, body, spirits, and kind of relax. And it's nice to be able to just check out and relax.
Right.
And
That active meditation that you get from the martial arts is so key.
Right.
Whether you're going at a faster or slower pace, which sometimes it can be super hard to go slow.
Right.
We want to rush.
Right. Right.
But I like that connection of learning through slow movement when to go faster and slower, especially in the practice of kata, because as you know, you can, the movements in between the movements are sometimes more important
Right.
than the strikes themselves.
Right.
How you're adjusting your body, how you're turning, how you're centering your body mass.
Right.
And that's where that slowness
comes in. I think sometimes, you know, when people start, especially the younger people, younger adults, or even older younger adults, you know, they think that if they go the fastest, it's going to be better. But what happens is the style ends up losing something, you know, by doing it too fast because you're not completing each movement. Every movement is you know, like san shin. I mean, if you do that, it's good to go back and go slow and then go fast. And then you have to know that's more effective than to go fast all the way.
Right.
Because you lose that energy. You know, it's when you step back and then you power through it, you know.
For sure. Oh, I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you, and that takes a long time to develop sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah.
But you keep at it.
I keep at it. Yep, and I'm not giving up. What I do, which maybe a lot of people can't do, but what I do is I usually pay for my tuition a whole year ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So that way there, I know I'm going to be there a year.
No excuse.
No excuses, you know. And even at the Uechi-Con, you know, I pay a year ahead. I mean, the minute they say it's going to be discounted, okay, Dottie's there. She's going to get that discount, you know. So, but it makes you want to be there,
Right.
you know, and everything.
And this
So.
year you have to be there because that's when you're testing at Uechi-Con.
That's right. Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Oh, Friday night, my goodness. It's going to be here before we know it.
It will.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it
And I'm looking forward to watching it.
and doing my best.
Well, Dottie, it's been a pleasure sitting down chatting with you like this. Thank you so much. I really mean you're an inspiration to us all, and I'm so glad we got to chat.
Yeah, well, thank you.